Welcome to Living Magically. I'm your host, Magical Michelle, and this week is starting on the 20th of January, and it is such a huge week because we have a very powerful, magical, spiritual alignment coming up this week. We're kind of at the beginning of it, and it is super crazy potent. It is a 6-planet lineup in the sky where we have this very unusual, very it hasn't happened in a long time, and it won't happen again for a very long time, lineup of these planets, this star parade that is happening. And we do this all in the first week of our Aquarius season. So right now we are just now shifting into the Aquarian energy for 2025. And we are now deeply embedded in this time of really seeing the age of Aquarius coming in. And of course, some people are feeling a lot of intensity and feeling it in their body and in their bones and in their hearts. And what I will just encourage everyone to do is find your personal center. In the middle of all of this, there's going to be this, how do I want to put it? There's going to be this place in time, and it may be this week for you, it may be later, where essentially there's this collective tower moment, and each one of us are going to feel it personally. And I'm not afraid of the tower card in the tarot deck. I encourage it because it embodies change, right? And that is what is being called for here. And often it has to become uncomfortable for us to be willing to change. Now, this alignment lining up this week leads me into a place of stay in your hope consciousness, not your fear consciousness. And when you see that this is Venus, Mars, Jupiter, and it also has Saturn, Neptune, and Uranus all lined up in a row, and just making this beautiful alignment in the sky, it's calling for a shift in gear, and you're gonna want to embrace that on a personal level. The only way the collective consciousness is going to change is if we, each one of us, change ourselves. And I know you always hear me say this, but I am going to reiterate: choice is our tool. The magician's tool is choice. And manifesting, a decision has to be made for what you desire. And gratitude, embodiment, gratitude is the attitude, right, of already having it. So when we start imagining it, when we start seeing it in our third eye, when we start meditating with the vision we have, when we see ourselves as whole and complete and getting what we want and having the experience we desire, and releasing fear consciousness, because of course the negative wants us to have fear consciousness because it allows them to control us and feel power over us, and it makes us feel powerless. We want to go back to gratitude of how do we want to see it? What is the collective consciousness that we are wanting to embrace, that we are wanting to embody, that we are choosing, and you specifically for yourself? This is it's an interesting duality when we harmonize in a culture that is trying to be disenfranchised, and in a situation that is embodying a little bit of chaos. what we do is we find our truth. And when we find that tool of what it is we truly desire, what it is that we feel in our heart space. And I'm just so in love with love right now. And I mean that. I have been painting little hearts in all these different sizes and shapes with the idea of what it is that I need to remind myself to stay in my heart, to stay in my harmony, to come into coherence with my vision for myself, my vision for my future, my vision for my body, my vision for my home, my vision for the big picture, my vision for the collective consciousness, my vision for peace on earth, my vision for peace in my body, the embodiment of gratitude and the embodiment of harmony and the embodiment of gratitude. And as we do that, we stay in our zone. We stay in our own field. We become so entrenched in our desire and the timeline that we are choosing, because we're at a collective choice point. We're choosing a choice point where we get to choose how we feel. Can't maybe choose everything that's happening around us, but we can choose how we feel. And we don't want to lower our vibration right now. In fact, we want to do everything to raise our vibration, raise our frequency, raise our thought forms. That means cleaning our environment. That means cleaning our social media. That means getting rid of clutter, emotional, physical, spiritual, anything that isn't in alignment. If you think about this cosmic harmony that's happening on a planetary level with these big planets all being visible this week, all being in alignment, how can you not believe that the cosmos has a plan? And how can you not believe that you are the center of your own universe? And by getting into harmony, I invite you to find that coherence, to find that self-regulation. Aquarian energy is all about creating a new beginning from the inside, from higher thought forms, from visualizing and embodying and creating what it is that this means for us on a spiritual level. There's some very jarring energy that is happening in the cosmic collective. There's a T square happening. It's been happening Sunday, Monday, and into Tuesday, which is a T square in Mercury, Capricorn, and it's the Chiron in Aries, and it's squaring Mars in Cancer retrograde. And it is going to feel like aggression. You're going to want to be calm in your own body, calm in your own center. And I think what's going to happen is that you may feel the jar from outside of you. You may feel a little bump in the road. And I invite you to realign and choose again. Every time you feel the fear, every time you feel the burn, I want you to ask, is what I want possible for me? Is what I want possible for the collective? And I choose it. And if you don't believe it's possible, you would release any fear. Go ahead and send the fear into the light of love. Anytime you feel fear, that's not how I need it to be for me. And start really aligning to your center, because we know physics has now shown us, science has now shown us that we start with our heart when we create our own quantum field, our terrestrial field. And so it starts with each person harmonizing ourselves, our body, our alignment actions, and taking those little steps. And we're going to feel a little bit more letting go throughout the next week, because next week we have that new moon in Aquarius on the 29th. We will have that lunar new year that begins the true essence of the year of the snake. So there's still that last dragon energy of wanting to fight for it. And instead of fighting, I'm going to invite you to stay in harmony, stay in a peaceful place. And if that means to isolate yourself instead of say what you want to say, if it isn't nice, this isn't the day or the way to say it. If it isn't going to be productive, and I don't mean I'm not trying to say be a pushover, because I do think sometimes that we do need to be in righteous strength, and we need to use our words for strength. I am not sure this is the week I would be putting that in motion. I do think this is the week, and I feel very strongly that this is the week to avoid arguing with anybody, because you're not going to change their mind and they're not going to change yours. The only way to change your mind is to align with your own personal desire, and to align with your own personal faith, and align with your own personal truth, and really get clarity. There's a moment in your own center, and it might not be today, it might not be tomorrow, but I think that when we get closer and closer to this big main alignment moment on the 25th, where these planets are in the most potent part of this alignment on the day of the 25th, if you can choose to really have your manifestation of how you want your world, your experience, and the world as a collective, I would encourage you to do a collective manifestation. See the world in your mind's eye. See it, embody it, say prayers of gratitude for it already being done, and create the quantum entanglement so that it is inevitable, right? When we literally wrap our brains around it over and over and over again, and we really connect with it and align with it, this is when the moment of quantum entanglement creates the timeline that you're choosing. You're choosing this for yourself. And we're preparing for that new moon. We're preparing for all the outer signs to change its direction this year. All the big outer planets. This is one of the biggest years for astrology in our lifetime. I'm very aware that can feel uncomfortable, and I encourage you to use your mind, your big, beautiful brain, to connect with, more importantly, that gorgeous, big, beautiful heart, and really set in motion in your mind's eye, as it is already done, the world that you're creating for yourself, the world that you're creating in your heart, the world that you are choosing to see. And when we start seeing the good in things, we will see more good. That is part of our frontal lobe. That is part of what happens. If you are focused on gray Jeeps, you're going to see more gray Jeeps, and even more Jeeps in general. If you just think about Jeeps, if you're thinking about purple shoes, you're going to notice every single pair of purple shoes. And I've noticed, like, just since I said that, I think on Friday, I have noticed every single person that has been wearing like purple tennis shoes. Like everywhere I turn, there's been purple tennis shoes. And so whatever it is you set your mind to focus on, that is going to come into your awareness. And when you get really clear on what your desire is, you start expecting that. And that becomes a frequency, and that becomes a habit, and that becomes part of your personality. And with that, I encourage you to be in alignment this week, but also in release. Anything that, once you get clarity, I want you to release anything that is not that. Any old residual resentment, because I am 100% sure that this is time to forgive everything. This is not a time to be holding grudges. This isn't a time to be resenting what is. And I'm reminded so strongly today that we have something called the law of humility. And for those of you who are in any place in your life where there is change that is required, inside of you, outside of you, on the world front, wherever it is, the law of humility states that you must first accept something. You don't have to like it. You do not have to get friendly with it. You just have to be in the it is what it is. Like, this is the way it is. Because once you can really see it for what it is, that's when change can be brought forward. If you are in complete denial of what is and what has happened or what is happening outside of you, and you're in denial, you cannot make a difference because you're not in the change. And even if you're fighting against it so hard that you're not accepting it as the truth, then you cannot move with intention and creation energy. And my friend, you are a divine spark of all that is. You are a divine spark of love. As I sit here with all my little painted hearts, all my little hearts, remember that you're this, it's not something outside of you. It is not something that someone has done to you or is going to do to you or has been in the past. You are an opportunity for a beautiful lesson to evolve for your soul. We're at a karmic time going into a collective consciousness of endings and new beginnings. Many changes, many endings, many new beginnings, because when one door closes, another door opens. So see this as an opportunity to be at the guardian at the gate. And when I host and facilitate these spiritual things, I have been taught to have people let go before they go into their process. Let go what is holding them back. What is the old identity? What is the old emotion? And so I believe this week is that release week. This week is that if you're going to really move into the age of Aquarius, what isn't going with you? What is staying in the past? Let the past be part of the past. This is that moment of, as I said, the collective tower moment where we have to burn down the old structure, where we have to burn down the old identity, where we have to let go of the old habit, the old belongings, the old frequency, the old vibration, the old, to become the new and to embody and grow. Just like as we're going into the snake energy, we release that outer skin to grow. And on that last bit of the fire of the dragon, what is it that you are burning down in the old energy? That is this super, super intense conjunction that is happening right now. this T-square. And then we have this alignment that is coming by the end of the week, and then followed immediately by next week's new moon and new year of the lunar cycle. So you might still feel like you haven't fully stepped into 2025, or you're here and you might be in some kind of resistance of what it is, what it appears to be like. And I'm saying there's still time to choose. There's still time to be part of the change. There's still a time to be in the alignment of your creative life force energy and to be finding that true alignment. We have some opportunities coming up. If you are looking to work with some of that, I have one coaching space available. I have a beautiful class called Loving Thyself for those who have taken the main 3 Theta Healing courses. You need to have at least digging deeper to get into this course. The Loving Thyself course is coming in February. And of course, we have a self-love oils temple in person here in Orlando on February 10th. So a lot of these lovely things happening. And of course, we will be talking next Monday about what to do with that new moon and the year of the snake. But this is the week of alignment, clarity, getting clear, staying in the energy of choice and getting ready for those big changes. So stay in alignment, don't lose your cool, and take a pregnant pause if you need to before you say something, do something, make a choice you can't go back on, and just get back to what is most important to you, to be coherent and harmonized and in love with life. Because I love you. I love you so much. And I hope that you will feel that love, receive that love, and love yourself fiercely. If there's one thing that this energy has, is that fierce energy of self-love and self-actualization. This is the perfect time to really claim that. And I feel like this entire Aquarius energy this year, with so many of these transits happening, powerful transits happening in the next month, that this is about putting that stake in the sand, that this is about putting that decision of self-authority, self-actualization, putting that down and being like, I'm all in. I'm all in for creating the life that I am going to love to live. So with all of that, live magically, and I'll see you again next week.